Hell yeah. Wyatt begins in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yo, welcome to Wyatt. And I'm your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans. Woof, goddammit, woof, 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 woof. Hey, to all my YouTubers out there, if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, just click that subscribe button at the bottom of your screen. Click it. I just love to click it. Now, my audience, let me tell you something. I love doing it. Anyway, today's episode of Wyatt is the continuation in the series titled Little Bear or Big Boy, Keep You Warm. Yeah. Now, today's special guest is Mr. Ali Lopez. He's a leader in the bear community. He's a vibrant voice in the bear community, and he's educating and increasing awareness in such a consequential way, y'all. So, I'm gonna shoot the breeze with him like right now.
We are a part of a rhythm nation.
So, without further ado, Wyatt welcomes Mr. Ali Lopez. How the hell are you? Talk at me, man.
I'm good. How you doing? It's a pleasure being here.
Well, listen, it's a pleasure, and I really appreciate you being here. Oh, yeah, I've got to make a shout out to Mr. James Butler. He connected us, and James is the founder of the Bears Network and the Big Boy Project.
Yes,
that's right.
My boy.
Yes. Okay, well, listen, man. My audience is both hetero and gay, same gender loving. So would you tell the audience exactly what the bear community is, what it's all about, what it represents?
All right. The bear community started about the time where the AIDS epidemic happened, a little bit actually further back, but it was a response to some discrimination for bigger guys. So many of them started in San Francisco. From San Francisco, it became worldwide. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, but they were bears of color in the beginning. But unfortunately, through assimilation per se, many people have not paid attention to the fact that unfortunately the bear community don't seem to embrace many bears of color. And it's unfortunate because we have so much to offer. But the bear community is represented by the bear pride flag, which has all the different skin colors of the bears that happen in nature. And it goes from white all the way to yellow. And most of the bears are located in different parts of the world. So when the flag was actually put together, I was one of the people that was there for voting the flag, because there were 4 original designs by Craig Byrne and Paul, and I can't remember his last name right now. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, there were 4 designs. From the 4 designs, it came down to what is known as Bear Pride flag right now. And that tends to represent all the different colors of the bear community. But again, unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that or ignore that fact. And one of the things that I tried to do is I tried to represent bears of color, not just in the Black community, but Hispanic, Asian from everywhere in the world, because the bear community has actually transcended the United States and have become worldwide.
Well, you know what? First of all, thank you so much for the history lesson, because some of these aspects I didn't even know, and it's good for people to hear this. Two things we're going to do later in the show is talk about racism within the bear community and how you have been so vocal in wanting to represent Black bears and bears of color. What I want to ask you is, so being a bear is part of your core, your essence. It's a lifestyle for you. Is that correct?
Yes. The funny thing is that when I first came out, I was in the military. I grew up in Puerto Rico. I was born in the United States to Puerto Rican parents. My dad was in the military also, but I grew up in Puerto Rico. I didn't know what I was. I didn't have any role models or any way for me to express who I was. I knew that I was different. I just didn't know how. In one of the visuals that I saw growing up of gays in Puerto Rico was always the effeminate guys. And that wasn't me, first of all.
Right.
I never took the opportunity or had the opportunity to experiment when I was younger. But once I joined the military, I started searching my feelings. Search your feelings, Luke. I'm a total geek, so don't mind the little references here and there.
I love it. Go ahead.
But once I figure out myself, my sexuality, I started to go to different bars, trying to find something that felt comfortable for me, but I never saw anything. And my first encounter with someone was this redheaded bear that actually called me a bear. And I was like, what? It's like,
what's that?
It's like, what the hell is that? And he actually had a bear magazine and gave it to me. And I was like, wow, this is like, ooh, because I was never interested in smaller guys. I was interested in guys my size.
Yep.
People that look like me, you know, strong, you know, manly. Not. Please don't take that as a negative. I'm not saying that effeminate or femme bears are not welcome, because they are. In whatever is comfortable for you is what you are. But for me,
absolutely,
what I wanted was someone that kind of felt the same way that as I did. And I started to investigate myself. When I first went to the first leather bar in the city of Baltimore, because the first bar that I went to regularly was the Hippo, which was more of a dance bar. I went to the gallery for the first time, and the moment that I walked in, I felt at home. I saw people that looked like me, people in leather that I've actually found alluring. And I met one of my mentors there by the name of Roger Ream, who is the quintessential bear. He later on introduced me to his partner, who actually became a karate teacher, because I'm also into martial arts. And they basically became my mentors about the bear community and the leather community. And from there, I basically grew from a cub to the bear that I am now. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you finish. Finish your sentence.
But it was a hard-fought, per se, inner battle for myself, because with my upbringing, my Catholic upbringing, feeling that I didn't belong anywhere, in not having an identity for myself, it was kind of hard to do. My mentors actually allowed me to figure myself out. And once I did, I started to become comfortable in my own skin. But at the same time, I found that for bears of color, it was hard to transcend into the community because there were many of us, first of all. Second of all, we were somewhat tolerated, but at the same time, there were people that were not too crazy about bears of color. As a matter of fact,
Right.
the first time that I went to a bear event, which was a meeting in DC, which my mentors invited me to because a new club had just started, the Chesapeake Bay Bears. When I went, the president of the club actually pulled me to the side and told me, you know, there's not such a thing as a black bear. And I really wanted to lash out because I actually have a really bad temper, but I had to control my anger, and actually I walked away. And while I was driving home, I was crying, and then I had the realization of, sorry, you cut off. I had the realization that why are you leaving, first of all? Second of all, the moment you leave, he won. So from that moment on, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to stop you right there because I want to dig into that later, definitely, because there are two tracks I want to get into later. What I want to do is take you back because I always like to ask my guests this question because it gives the audience even more of a look into your backstory. And here it is. What was Ali like when he was a little boy, a little nipper? Give us 3 characteristics that best describe you. Yeah, I like doing that.
Well, I was a wild child.
No.
Oh, yeah. I have what is known as what I call a touch of the wild. I've been an animal person since I was a little kid. I was the kid in the neighborhood that could walk to any dog, and didn't matter if the dog was aggressive or not. The dog would basically fall in love with me. And I started basically going to the beach and learning how to swim and swimming with dolphins and doing all kind of crazy stuff. The other side is my science side. I am big into science. I actually stole some chemistry sets from school. And oh yes, I was a little klepto. And I started experimenting and making things like nitroglycerin, accelerants, sulfuric acid at 11 years old. So yeah, I kind of was bad. I was a bad kid. I was not allowed to be left alone because I would set things on fire.
No. Well, how did you grow out of that?
I didn't. I joined the military and became an explosive expert.
That's where. Okay, yeah. Let's zoom to the military. Yeah. Listen, you're reading my mind. Thank you for helping me with my path. Okay, you are an Army vet. You're an Army vet.
Yes.
I want to sincerely thank you for your service. Thank you so much for that.
My honor.
Let's chat a little bit. Well, we appreciate you. Tell us about your stint in the military, and we need to know about you being an explosive expert, right?
Well, it's not much that I can talk about. I can talk about certain aspects of it. I'll
take it.
Oh, yes. I'll take that.
I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take it.
So yeah, I joined the military when I was 17. I supposed to have gone to college. Well, I supposed to have gone to college, but at the time that I supposed to have gone to the University of Puerto Rico, there was a strike at the University of Puerto Rico. I had taken the attitude tests for the military, and I actually had a very high score. I'm a little competitive when it comes to, if you notice the background, I have lots of books because I love to read. But anyway, I actually had a really good score, and they offered me a bunch of stuff. And one of the things that came up on the offer was, "Oh, would you like to be an EOD tech, explosive disposal technician?" And I'm like, "What? Like, really?
Yeah, right. I'll do it.
Like,
Yeah.
did you say explosives?" So I actually became honor graduate. I graduated top of the class. And then I was stationed in Fort Riley, Kansas for a little while, actually for a year. And actually, I think it was 2 years. And then I was sent to Johnston Island to dismantle chemical weapons, which was a very dangerous duty. But I'm still here.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And only the top explosive experts go there. To be honest, even though it was the scariest duty that I ever had, was the most fun to me, because I'm also a little bit of a adrenaline junkie.
Thrill seeker.
Yeah, just a
Thrill
little,
seeker?
just a little.
Just a
Just a
squosh,
little.
Just a squosh. Okay.
But once I was there, that's when I start figuring out my sexuality. And
Right. I was going to ask you about that
and
further. Please
one of
continue.
the things that they do as an explosive expert, every 6 months you have to have psych evaluations. And I got tired of lying.
Yeah, makes sense.
I got tired of lying. And once I figured out that I was gay, because I knew that I was different, I just didn't know how. I never had the opportunity to go after my feelings. So I decided that it was time for me to leave the military. And as much as I loved it, the decision was made by me to leave. And it took me...
How long were you in the
I
military?
was in the military for 6.5 years, active duty, and then 6 years in reserves. So actually, it was a total of 10 years, excuse me. Yes, I loved it, but at the time there was no don't ask, don't tell. There was no quietly serving. It was, if they find out that you were gay, you would get a dishonorable discharge, and I wasn't going to go through that. I couldn't do that to myself,
Absolutely.
and I couldn't do that to my father, who was a Second World War Korean and Vietnam veteran. My dad served for 24 years. We didn't get along growing up, but once I joined in the military, I understood why me and my dad didn't get along. Basically, we were the same person, different bodies. And I miss him dearly.
Well, did you come out to your dad, or?
No, I didn't get a chance to, but I think he knew. The last conversation we had, he said that he was very proud of the man that I became. And I appreciated that, because growing up, you want to get the approval of your parents. I know that my mom will never... Me and my mom have a very strange relationship. I love her to death, but I can't deal with some of the stuff that I have gone through with her. But with that,
Wow,
it
I'm so
was
sorry. Yeah.
more direct, more simple, because we understood each other once we figured out that we were after the same thing. We wanted an honorable life. We wanted to honor my parents and my background. And that everything that I went through growing up could have been a lot harder if it wasn't for his sacrifice, because my dad sacrificed a lot for us. You just sometimes don't see it because you want to see your dad playing with you and spending time.
Right.
But my dad was always working. My dad was always learning. My dad was always, and that's where the drive to learn, that's where I got it from, because my dad was always trying to better himself, to make sure that his family was looked after, and he always did that.
Well, and you know what? First of all, most parents instinctively know that their kid is gay or whatever. They really, really do. Even if you don't come out to them, they know. And, men have different ways of showing love. And, men have to be the provider. And that was one way of him showing
Yep.
love to you, because he was taking care of his
Exactly.
family financially and giving you what you needed
Yep.
financially. So
Yeah,
I get it.
I the first time that I got it was the day that I shipped out of Puerto Rico, because I never saw my dad cry. That was the first time ever that I saw my dad cry, and he hugged me. And I remember him saying, "You're gonna do well. Just do the best and let everything else fall, where it may. Don't Friends are great, but you're not there to make friends.
Yeah.
You're there to do a duty. You're there to better yourself. That comes first." And that never left my head. He always put the right attitude in my head. And it was tough being a 17-year-old with a bunch of people that, first of all, I knew the language, but I didn't know if I was doing it right.
Right.
Trying to deal with people that already had been in the United States for a long period of time. I grew up in an island where everything was beautiful and not cold. Complete different life.
Right, not cold.
It's like the
Yes.
first time I saw snow, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, like a damn shock to the system, right?
I still can't deal with snow very well, but I adapted, and that's what you do when you have the right upbringing and the right encouraging. Even though Dad wasn't there for the things that I wanted him to be there for me, he was always there in spirit, and he showed me a lot by giving me the right tools, and I'm grateful for that.
Well, your dad left you with that positive vibe, that feeling. You knew that maybe even though you all didn't agree all the time, and he was maybe a different type of guy, that he loved you, and that was really important to know. Question. Let's go back to this whole discrimination, racism within the bear community, because you're a vibrant voice in the bear community. You are a leader in the bear community, and you've been very vocal about that. So let's unpack all of that.
As I was saying earlier, the first time that I went to a bear event, it was Remington's in Washington, D.C., where the Chesapeake Bay Bears were having meet and greet, just a brand new bear club in the area, and I was invited by my mentors. So I went, and I started hanging around, and I don't drink. I don't touch the stuff. But anyway, the president at the time of the club pulled me aside and said, I don't think you'd be a good fit for this club, because there's not such a
Really
thing as a
now?
black bear. Oh, yeah.
That's so
And
ignorant.
my instinct was to actually jack him up and actually voice my opinion. But first of all, I didn't want to make a scene. And at the time, I was a lot shyer than I am now. So what I did is I decided to leave. On my way home in my truck, I was crying and thinking about replaying the incident in my head. And then I came to the realization, the moment you back down is the moment he won.
Absolutely.
And I'm not letting
Right.
him win. Not in a lifetime. So what I decided to do is the next time that they had a meeting, I went and became a
Good
member
for
of the club.
you. Yes.
And not only became a member, I became the most visible member. Whenever I had a day that they were having an event and I was off, I was there, I was cooking, I was helping, I was making sure that I was visible. Hey, how you doing? My name is Ali Lopez. How you doing? Oh, you're okay, great. Welcome to the Chesapeake Bay Bears. I became the most visible member to
Ah.
ensure that people would see someone that looked like me
Smart.
as a
You killed
bear.
them with kindness. I
Because
like it.
kill sometimes it's better to use honey than
So
vinegar to
true.
catch flies. So the other thing that I also became very active in doing is making sure that everyone was welcome about me and got to know
Right.
who I was. Because one of the main problems in our community is ignorance of
Exactly.
other people. We try to block out people that we don't feel
Right.
comfortable with. So I wanted people to see who I was, not to make you comfortable with me, to know that I was here as part of this community. But because if you really look at the bear flag, even before the bear flag was the bear flag, I happen to be a biologist at heart. Bears are one of my favorite animals, and they come in every color under the rainbow of that flag. Besides the fact that if you really look at things in a
Mm-hmm.
different way, the polar bear, who's supposed to have the whitest hair, that hair underneath of that hair is actually black skin.
Ah.
The black bear, actually, there's a little biology
Okay.
lesson here. It's the hair of the um, polar bear is the first instant or the first example of a conductive tube, because they're actually hollow in the inside to be able to allow the sunlight to go onto the
Really?
skin and warm the animal. So the nose that you see on the polar bear being black is actually, that's the color of the skin.
Whoa. My audience, that's heavy. Thank you for that, Mr. Lopez. Wow. Okay. According to my cards here, you're one of the first blacks person of color who've entered bear title contests. True? And
Very true.
speaking of titles, I mean, you've won so many of them. You're the current Mr. International Leather Bear. You won the Mr. International Daddy Bear. So tell us about those two in particular.
Well, those two in particular were actually a response to Hurricane
Ah,
Katrina in 2005, and the other one, it was due to Hurricane Maria in
mm,
2017. As many of you know, I'm originally from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico got rocked by Hurricane Maria, and my family in Puerto Rico was
yeah.
devastated. A lot of people in Puerto Rico, over 4,000 people, by the way, over 4,000 people died in Puerto Rico under the
Uh,
administration of that orange motherfucker. And yes, I said
well,
orange motherfucker.
that's perfect. Yes. And we can call them a whole lot of other
So,
shit too.
oh, I can say much more. But anyway, I'm not trying to be political, but politics is what drives our status. If you're not voting, you're not paying attention. So please, I don't care how you vote, but go and do it. Because right now, they're playing the
Oh, yeah.
long game, and we're losing the long game. And I am not looking forward to losing my status as a married man to the man that I love because people are not paying
Well,
attention.
Thomas is, when he signed off on Roe versus Wade, he wrote in his decision that, yeah, maybe we need to look at contraception. Maybe we need to look at same-sex marriage, some other stuff, So
Exactly.
yeah, you've got to get out and vote,
Yes.
because they're, they're playing the long game and it's working for
Exactly.
them.
But let me go back to entering those
Right.
contests. The reason why I entered is, first of all, because there were no bears of color entering contests
Okay.
at all. I was in the first IBR, I think, yes, the first IBR in 1995. I was the only contestant of color, and I didn't enter to win. I never entered to win. I entered to represent. The other reason why I entered was because money was going to be donated
Okay.
to Maria. For example, in the time of Katrina, the San Francisco Bears donated money to helping the victims of Katrina. Before that happened in Maryland, I helped with a fundraising event that raised over
Whoa.
$3,000, clothing and other stuff to
Amazing.
be able to be sent to New
Wow.
Orleans. But most of the reasons why I have entered contests, one of them has been representation. The other one has been for helping communities that need the help. Puerto Rico was a very hard one for me to do because my family lives there, but not just my family. There's an emerging community of bears and leathermen in
Really
Puerto
now?
Rico that are basically, yes, that are basically so far behind the eight ball that they are getting the hate that we used to get in the 1990s because they're being who they are. They're not only getting this from the religious fanatics, but they're also getting, unfortunately, some of the hate from the gay community because the gay community don't understand what the bear and the leather community is all about. So unfortunately, they have to battle two battles at the same time. But one of the things that I try to do is not just help them, but also the community at large in Puerto Rico. So through the efforts of the Centaur MC, which is the club that I
Hmm.
belong to, and many other people that have helped, uh, I have raised with their help over $15,000 to $20,000 worth of help
Wow.
to the gay community and the community at large in Puerto Rico.
Wow. I mean, man, you were so heavily involved in community involvement, not meaning to sound redundant, and also social activism. And you also play Santa Claus.
Yes, that's the reason for the. That's actually one of the most enjoyable things of my outreach programs. I find it so so healing. Um, Watching children lose their mind over a Santa that looks like
Right.
them is amazing. And I speak five languages, so it comes handy in communities that have children that are new to the United States and don't know English and speak in Spanish or Portuguese or some Italian. So I try to communicate to them in their language. Also, One of the main reasons why I started this, there's a group called Helping Orphans Prosper Everywhere, which was founded by a lady by the name of Marlene Mehipat. She started as my chiropractor because I used to power lift. I was in an accident, which I didn't know at the time that I had messed up my lower back. One day I woke up and I couldn't walk.
Wow.
And this lady basically put me back together, and that's the reason why I'm walking. I'm a black belt, second degree black belt because of her. Because if she wouldn't have done all the work to help me, I would not be walking. But besides that, she started this little entity called Helping Orphans Prosper Everywhere in Baltimore. And I said to her, you know what? I can help you with that because I used to live in Randallstown, Maryland.
Right.
And I started helping her doing fundraisers at gay bars, asking for toys, donations, and stuff like that. At the time, one of my friends, a member of the Centaurs, Dougie Gowan, he used to play Santa at a mall. So I asked him if he could play Santa at a bar.
Oh, good.
And he came a couple of times, a couple of years, and then Megyn Kelly had to put her foot in her mouth about that Santa was white only. There wasn't, no black Santas. So the moment she said that, I asked Doggy if he had an extra Santa suit, and I put the suit on, and I started being Santa. And from there on, I have been Santa ever since 2014, to be exact. I've been Santa for this charity, and it has been the most rewarding thing that I have ever done. Watching a child come up to you and say, Santa, can you do this for me? It's like, yes, child, I can do that. But how you doing in school? Are you studying? How you doing on science? Are you doing good in math? What are you interested about the world? What do you want to know? Go to school, learn. But I don't only talk about academics in school. I also talk about academics learning vocational skills, because not everything is about college. Some of the vocational skills can actually be very beneficial, and some vocational schools teach certain skills like plumbing, electrician, and so many others that can actually make more money than someone that has an 8-year degree. So I try to steer them towards the goals that actually are reachable, and not try to give them a bill of goods instead of trying to tell them, oh, you have to go and get yourself in debt and become, this and that. Or, don't only think that you can be a rapper or a baseball player. You can be so much more. There's so much more to you being from an ethnic background that there's nothing stopping you but you.
Well, you know what, Ali, that is so profound. And about, I need to say this about Megyn Kelly and people of her ilk. I call it egregious ignorance. Egregious ignorance. Question for you. What are the misconceptions that some folks might have regarding the bear community?
Well, that we're all addicted to booze.
I hadn't heard that one.
We have alcohol issues.
Wow.
Not everybody does. Some of them like to drink. That we are kinky. We are kinky. Hey,
kinky's
that's
good.
Actually not a misconception. Kinky's
yes,
good.
It is.
Yeah. Don't use the feather. Use the whole chicken. What the fuck?
I love it.
Just use the whole chicken.
Damn, I love it. Look, slap with the chicken.
That's right.
That is too.
It's like make it taste good, baby.
That's good.
That we can be somewhat aloof, I guess, or standoffish. That's everywhere. That happens everywhere. But the thing is, you have to put yourself out there. You have to take the chance of learning other cultures, learning about other people, because that's the only way we actually advance. We have to get out of our comfort zone. And for bears of color out there, I know that there's a lot of negativity when it comes to people looking down at you. But you know what? Hold your head up high, walk into that bar and say, I own this bitch. Because you do. You have a space around you. You own that space. Everything else, whatever else someone else thinks about you, is their problem, not yours. The main thing is put yourself out there, take the chance, enter a contest. You never know. I entered the contest never thinking that I was going to win. And allow yourself to become more than just a contest winner. Become something that can be a benefit, not just to you, because it's good to be to have good things happen to you, but help other people become something. Be a mentor. Think of ways that you can change someone's life without having to get anything back, because that doesn't do you any good.
Well,
just being able to put yourself out there and give a child or an adult the experience of, oh my God, I matter.
and it's all about
It's incredible.
and it's all about the healthy self-esteem. Now, what do you have planned for the rest of this year, like events, special projects,
Oh my
that sort
God.
of thing?
Well, I'm going to World Bear Pride. I am
When is that?
World Bear Weekend, which is happening September 22nd to the 25th.
Okay.
It's in Orlando, Florida. I know people are going to go, it's Florida. It's, oh my God, that one I got to Florida. They don't like gays. Guess what? If you continue to not show up to the places they don't want you,
They've won.
they're going to keep the door closed.
They've won.
Exactly. They're going to close that door, and they have won. Oh, they're not coming over here. Guess what? The riffraff is coming. Hi, guy. I say gay all the time.
You are a hoot. What else do you got going on for the rest of the year?
Well, once I come back, that starts my Santa stuff.
Okay.
And I'm already mostly booked up for different events, because besides the fact that I play Santa for a charity in Baltimore, I also play Santa for a charity here in Prince George's County. Originally, I started with one PetSmart store giving me toys. Now I have 5.
Oh.
So my gas bill is going to be like horrendous, because the stores are between Maryland, DC, and Virginia. So I do a lot of driving, picking up toys, putting them in the back of my truck. Yes, I have a truck. I like having a truck.
You need a truck.
I have a problem with the truck. I need a truck.
You need a
'cause I'm
truck.
Santa. Exactly. So I will be doing that. Then I'll go to schools and do my
man.
Santa thing. I have my own chair, my own props, and everything. All this stuff I buy from my own money, because nobody donates anything to me.
Exactly.
All this is actually done. And my husband looks at me like, really? Really? You're going to do that again? It's like, but he actually secretly enjoys it because he likes being Mr. Santa Claus.
Oh.
He likes being Mr. Santa Claus. He might say, oh my God, here we go again. But he loves being Mr. Santa Claus. But besides doing the Santa for the straight community, I also do Naughty Claus.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's that about?
Naughty Claus.
Tell us about Naughty Claus.
I get all in my leather.
Ooh.
Oh yes, it's somewhat revealing, but not too revealing because we don't want people to be playing with my jiggly parts.
Tease. Okay. Gotta tease, folk.
Well, I have to be a respectable bear somewhat. But anyway, I dress up in my leather. I go to gay bars and I do an event where I get pictures taken with people and people donate toys or money. And that all goes to the two charities. So it's a lot of fun.
Very inventive. Well,
oh yes.
How can us grown folk contact you, follow you on social media, that sort of thing?
Well, you can find me on Twitter. I am BearBeast269.
Say that again, please.
My BearBeast269.
Got it.
Also, you can find me on Facebook. That's Ali Lopez. And that's about the only way you can contact me because I don't want too much access to everybody. Because it's like everybody just wants to, hey, can I show you this? Can I show you my... It's like, it's nice, but I'm actually an ass man. So...
Well, listen, Mr. Ali Lopez, thank you for dropping by. Wyatt, I greatly appreciate it. This has been such an enlightening and entertaining conversation. You must come back.
Oh, boy. You're a glutton for punishment.
Yes, I is. And I love it.
Oh, well, hey, that's a good thing because I am here to punish.
Okay, we'll talk about that off camera. Thank you, sir.
Baby. Not a problem.
So there you have it. You can find the official Wyatt podcast page on WyattEvans.com, which is the go-to destination for LGBTQ news, features, commentary, and entertainment. WyattEvans.com is visited by over 100 countries on the regular. I say to that, yeah, baby. And WyattEvans.com is where you'll find my smoking hot, HAWT hot, nothing can tear us apart series of novels. Y'all, the current installment is titled Frenzy! Yeah, I said Frenzy. And Frenzy is chock full of masculine romance, heated passion, nastiness, danger. I'm talking danger, y'all. Intrigue and action. Yeah. And its predecessor is titled Rage. And hi. Get ready for the sequel, the next installment in the Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels. And it's called Delirium. I'll say it, Delirium. And it's gonna drop later this year, so I'm gonna tell you all about it. Now, if you wanna be a guest on Wyatt, or you just have comments, feedback, or whatever, you can email me at wyattonair@gmail.com. You can follow me, Wyatt O'Brien Evans, your host, on Facebook.com/Wyatt O'Brien Evans, on Twitter at Mr. Woe, MISTERWOE, and on Instagram at Sir.WyattOfficial. So until next time, y'all, woof, goddammit, woof, woof, woof. I said